Okay. All right, I'm going to call to order the Weathersfield School Board meeting for Tuesday, March 12th at 6:32 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
If I can just add one piece for items for discussion, it would be Student Leadership Day. Please.
Okay, no problem. Then we have three different meeting minutes to approve. We have the ones we'll start with the ones from February 13th.
I found two, instead of Sarah Steele, it's Susan Steele twice.
Do you know? Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So, does someone want to make a motion to approve them, and then we'll get to the corrections?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do all three or just one at a time?
We'll do one at a time because I have
Okay.
corrections to them.
Can I make a
also.
motion to approve the notes from February 13th?
Yes, so moved. Mark made that motion. So Sarah, what corrections did you have?
Under approval of minutes,
Uh-huh.
A.
Oh, okay.
My
Yep.
name is Susan instead of Sarah.
Okay, I'll get that fixed.
And then under items for discussion followed by motions, B.
Uh-huh.
It's,
Oh, yep, same
Susan
thing.
again?
Yep.
that's all that I saw.
Okay. I saw two things that I'd like to correct on this. One is under administrative report A. The first mention, well, actually, the third line down where it says H850 is an act relating to the transitioning of education financing. That actually should say Act 127. H50 was what was trying to fix it, the transition, but it's not the actual act. So should say Act 127 there. And then there's a paragraph in that same section, I think. Yeah, where it says there was a discussion that our tax rate would have been higher the last 2 years. It's not correct. I would delete the part after but. It says the governor voted for. That I would delete that because governors don't vote, so that doesn't make sense. And then I guess let me just say how I would word the sentence. I would say there was discussion that our tax rate would have been higher the last 2 years, but extra federal and state funds due to COVID lowered school tax rates the last 2 years. Any other changes? Okay, I'll take a vote then to approve the minutes with changes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, next up are the minutes from February 26th. I'll take a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Mark made the motion to approve the minutes from February 26th. Does anyone have any changes to that one?
In terms of the first paragraph, it's one of the participants is listed as Christian Craig.
Oh, Craig Christian, but it should be Christian Craig, yeah.
Correct. So if we can swap those two in the notes.
Uh-huh. Okay, anyone see anything else on that one? That was pretty short, so not really much. Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes with the change to Christian Craig's name, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, one more to go. The minutes for March 2nd. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from March 2nd.
So moved.
Mark made the motion to approve the minutes from March 2nd. I do have a change on here. It says the SU budget was cut by 200,000. It was actually cut by closer to 250,000. Does anyone have that exact amount that the SU budget was cut by?
I can find it.
You can, okay. So that just needs to be corrected with the correct amount, because I know it was more than 200,000. Okay, so with that corrected, does anybody have any other changes? That one? Okay. With that correction made, all in favor of approving the March 2nd minutes, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, I got that little bit of housekeeping done, so those are all done. Up next, we have public participation. Is there any public participation? No? Is there any online?
I do not see any.
Okay.
No hands came up.
My computer just died, so I should have plugged it in. Let's see. Oh, we have a student presentation of learning on is that the same thing or is that a different thing?
That's part of our.
Okay, so, okay. All right, so up next we have the student.
Okay, so we'll put this up. Hopefully this is, for some reason my camera's not picking up. So hopefully this. Go.
So look at Casey pin. See the little pin next to her name? I'll click on that.
I felt sorry for her that it was up there.
Good tip, good tip.
And then I was trying to get my camera to work and it would not, it still won't work. Thank you. Alright. Okay. The learner report for March 12th. PTO report. Jamie Richardson, actually filling in for Jamie Richardson's Carrieville.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of ramble, so we move through it quickly, but because we've been done reports in a couple of months, it feels like when we were thinking about it, all the things we've done just a little overwhelming. So we did have a successful Make It and Take It event in December, which was a free event for all students that wanted to make gifts for family members. We also did a cookie swap, although there was no swapping for the staff. We try to do something in the staff lounge every month. And so we brought in 30 dozen or more treats and provided boxes, and they all got to take 1 to 2 dozen treats home to their families without having to actually add to the cookie swap. We also piggybacked on that for the teaching staff. We hung door tags on their classroom door that says, "You've been elfed." And then on the back side, they had a list of 20 things and then another line that they could choose to have stocked for their classroom. So they all got to choose 10 items. We intentionally did not tell them what the quantity would be because we wanted them to be surprised. So when they thought they were ordering a box of Kleenex, they actually got a case of Kleenex. So we delivered a lot of items to all of the classrooms. That was super fun. I loved that. And then we also had this snowball in January, which was a middle school semi-formal that we put on. We have stopped charging admission at all. We were collecting $2, but we've just realized it's not really about that. It's just providing a space for the students to come and have fun. So that was beautiful. That is always a fun event. In February, we provided a huge spread of beverages and decorations for the staff Super Bowl, SOUPER. It was a potluck luncheon staff did. We provided all the beverages for them and put up football decorations. That was the day after the Super Bowl. We did a family dance in February that was kindergarten through 5th grade, which was hugely attended. Again, that's become a favorite event. We celebrated the 100th day, which there was debate from the students on because we lost a day here or there, but either way, we decided to leave the decorations up for 2 days, so we made everyone happy. We donated $100 to the leadership students, also known as student council, older term, just because we felt like they're really trying to get off the ground, and we know what it's like to start from nowhere and try to have, spend money to make money. And so we thought we'd give them a little hand, which went towards them being able to do the SU dance that was just this last Friday night. We have our March calendar raffle. We're drawing daily prizes that we sold about 2,600 tickets to. And that is all donations that we give away for prizes. So there's no money for us for that up front. We just have a really incredible population of people that keep buying those raffle tickets from us. We have a comedy night this Saturday night at the Common Man in Claremont. The show is at 7 o'clock and features our returning comedian, Kelly McFarland from last year, but we've also got a new headliner, Drew Dunn, who has toured nationally with Dane Cook. So this is like a legit comic night if you are interested in that sort of thing. Doors open at 6. There are hors d'oeuvres included in your ticket, and they also will have a happy hour. We have all of our supplies to give to all staff for testing. So we have build your own buckets this year, rather than trying to figure out what we can get each classroom. We've learned the last couple of years that teachers and students have individual needs, so we will have a spread of all the items you can fill your own bucket with in the staff lounge, and they can take what their students need to help them get through all of the testing. We also have invested in some recreation equipment for recess time and outdoor play. We think that students would be really excited to have some equipment, balls and bats, not like hard bats, but skippets, jump ropes, that sort of stuff that seems to have been depleted over the years. So they'll be getting those soon. Staff Appreciation Week for everyone should know is the week of May 6th. So it's a great time to highlight the teachers, the paras, the custodians, the food service workers, anyone that you come in contact with. They genuinely love what they do, and showing them our appreciation is helpful. We encourage all families and students to participate in that. We did have the SU Dance Friday night. It was not a PTO event. It was the leadership team, and we just provided our decorations and lights and assistance, the chaperones and that sort of stuff. That was super fun. Last week, we did Read Across America, where we gave every student a free book. They get to go with 3 tables, and they got to come during their lunch period and select a book. We had a number of books left over, so many students took a second book. All the staff were invited to take books for their classroom libraries. The librarian took some books to put in the library. And then we still had quite a number of books left. And so we reached out to Heartland and donated other remaining books to the Heartland school so they could give to their students. So we were proud of that as well. We have made a donation to help support the Easter egg hunt for the Proctor Library. So we just dropped off a box of donations there for their event. And then coming up, we are going to be starting our spring apparel order and signs for graduating 8th grade students of Weathersfield. So I didn't realize we did all that when we started writing it down. Any questions for PTO type info? Yes.
Do any of you sleep?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Thank you so much. That's an incredible list.
Yeah,
Incredible.
love it.
All right, ready to change hats?
Sure.
Okay. Change hats, take a breath, go.
Okay.
You should have like a baseball cap or something.
I know. Pulling out one side. So athletics. We're still not at the final deadline for registrations, but our numbers for spring are looking good. We're coming off a very successful basketball season. We had lots of teams have excellent records, but more than that, really seeing the team atmosphere build here amongst the athletes. I have seen new students joining sports as 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and they're being welcomed onto the teams and supported, and I think that's incredible. I do want to just highlight the 7th and 8th grade girls basketball team was just in the TSB tournament over the last 2 weeks in Claremont. They made it to the championship game, which I went to on Saturday. They lost by 1 point, but it was an incredible game. They got noticed for having great sportsmanship. We had 2 athletes that were named to the all-tournament team, which is, I don't think an actual team, I think it's a recognition, but Ayana Gay and Addison Crane. And then out of all of the athletes, we had a sportsmanship award to Taylor Tomberg for showing excellent sportsmanship. We also had our 5th and 6th grade girls and boys play in the Ludlow Rec tournament, and both teams brought home first place championships. So we have 3 new pieces of hardware to add to our trophy case. And it has been an incredible season. We've really seen the season build for these athletes. And Mrs. Berry has been wonderful about accommodating us in the gym. And during the winter season, we make use of that time. We're in here almost 7 days a week because once basketball ends, she gets her gym back. And so we've had to work around her. The drama production is needing the stage now, so it kind of worked out well. The deadline to register for spring sports is not a steadfast hard date, but unofficially we're looking at March 23rd because all the neighboring schools are about 2 or 3 weeks after that, and it is looking like we won't have enough numbers for 3rd and 4th grade softball and 7th and 8th grade baseball. Still hoping that we get the registrations in, but I just think looking at the student body, I don't think we can field those 2 teams. But we want the registrations to still come in. And in fact, in order to play at a different school or a different town, they do have to register here first, and then they would get a refund if we can't make the team. So far, we're at 83 athletes that are registered for spring sports. Last year, we were at 127. So we're still there. We've got a couple more weeks to go. Track and field seems to be growing by leaps and bounds. We're already at 22 athletes there. Last year, it was 19. So that seems to be where a lot of kids are landing, which is great. I think that's all that's going on for athletics right now. Any questions for that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, Finnegan.
Great. So there was quite a lot that went on the past few months. But just last week, we had the supervisory union dance, which students from all 4 schools were in attendance. There were around 150 students. And I just want to extend a special thank you to the leadership class for setting up the dance, and a special thank you to the volunteers at the dance.
Yeah, we had a great amount of volunteers, including all 3 of our guests here today. And then I want to give a special shout out to Carrie too, or should I say DJ CJ. So she's been our DJ recently at most of our dances, and now she's got the bling to show it. So we're pretty proud of that one of our teachers made that through our 3D printers as well. So she's got it.
And Spirit Week, the leadership class sponsored Spirit Week for Random Acts of Kindness Week. That was really fun to participate in. Middle school electives, at the end of the semester, students had the opportunity to choose a different elective. I know I stayed in one and changed one. Yeah, it's nice to kind of change it up as a student a little bit.
What are your electives now?
I have band now, and now I'm in an ELA class.
A what?
ELA one.
Oh, ELA.
Yeah.
What are you doing in that ELA class?
Just kind of researching mythology and like creating our own stories. Really, it's really fun. We do creative writing sometimes.
Nice. That's
So for the school play, the production of Beauty and the Beast Junior will be on April 26th at, I believe, 7 p.m. And then April 27th at 2 p.m., I believe. And we've been rehearsing. I'm contour, the clock in the play. And we will be traveling to Heartland next week to watch a preview of their play. They're doing SpongeBob musical.
All right, thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, so we're continuing obviously with Leader and Me and working on the 7 habits that we do every morning. We go through that, and then in our K through 5, and then also in middle school classes, they work on those during their advisory class. One of the things that is coming up for us is we are opting or wanting to have a leadership day in May. And so what it is, let me explain this a little bit too. So our Lighthouse team has been coming up with some ideas to do it, which is student driven, but it'll be a showcase of some of the things that the students have done throughout the year. So sort of like an open house type activity that we would like to do during the day. So what I'm going to ask of you later is if we can possibly have an early release day on May 24th, which is way after testing, because our students up until that point are going to be focusing on, once testing gets over, they're going to be focusing on the leadership day and being able to present. We'll start off, the idea is to sort of start off with like a full school production, and then the kids will take families and share different things that they've been doing throughout the school day, and then we'll end it with some kind of lunch. And then what we'll do is we'll come back here. The purpose of it, the reason why for an early release day is so that I have an opportunity then to meet with staff, all staff, because I don't always get to meet with all staff, to be able to go over what went really well, things that we can improve on, things that we would like to do next year, and make this an annual event. So we can, that was why I have that added on there to talk about. So we're still working out the details of it, but we're going to be able to move forward. Student-led conferences are happening, coming up on March 25th through the 29th, which is an exciting opportunity for students really to share their learning and what they've been doing at school. It's something that's a little bit different for us. So parents, families are going to be there, and the students are leading. They're going through their portfolio. They're talking about what they've been doing. They're talking about their wildly important goals, what they've learned, something they've been proud of, where they need to work on. And so it's a way for students really to love their learning and take ownership of their learning. And then there'll still be some opportunity for parents to be able to have that, if they need to have that one-on-one conversation with the teacher, to be able to do that as well. And this year we're still offering them virtual, phone, and in person. We would prefer in person, but with the virtual world, that's one thing that COVID left us, is that opportunity for people to join virtually. So we don't want to take that option away from families, but we want to make sure that we are able to give that there. But it's going to be a great way for students. And so we're going to have, we did some information up on the newsletter this past week, and then we're in the process of filming a short little video of what a student-led conference looks like, so parents have a better expectation of what they'll be doing on the starting on the 25th. So BTCAP, that's our new testing that is coming up. There is our testing schedule. We were able to push it back. 5th and 8th grade will start off with science before spring break. And then after spring break, we will hit into it for grades 3 through 8 for English, language arts, and math. We're starting off with math first and then going to ELA. We try to only test on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Mondays are always a little off, especially if you have the day after daylight savings time starts. That's a really rough day for all of us. So we don't want students to have a rough day. Didn't want to start testing on April 1st either. It just doesn't seem like a good day to start testing. So we're waiting till we get back from spring break for the majority of it. So it should last right about 2 weeks, and we have plenty of makeup days. And then our last day officially of testing will be May the 3rd. And then after that, we'll be jumping into our getting ready for our leadership day.
So those times on there, that's how long the students are doing the test for?
Yeah, so we give them a window in there. It's a 75 minute. We start off at 8, we're starting off at 8:45 and trying to end testing by 10:45. So we're giving 120 minutes because they have a little bit more time to do it. And then some students can take all day to do it if they need to. And so we'll have different rooms set up as well for students, especially during the English language arts part. A lot of our students tend to write a tremendous amount, and they want to make sure it gets perfect. And so they write and write and write all day long. So we want to give them plenty of time to be able to do that. And then one of the other things that we're doing with BTCAP is we try to have a theme every year for it. Last year we did a Star Wars theme because it fell right around May 4th. This year we are doing a Beauty and the Beast theme going along with our play to help promote our play as well as promote testing. And so Finn is going to be singing Take the Test. He doesn't know that yet. Added that part in there. We're coming up with some songs and Beauty and the Beast themed stuff to go along with what our PTO is giving out for fidgets for the students. So we'll have the K through 2, especially make some posters of encouragement, all Beauty and the Beast themed. So it goes with testing and with our play. Safety drills, fire drill, and options-based drill, those will both happen. We'll be having another fire drill again this month. Keeping up on those and making sure we're getting them. Options-based drill was even really good because the last one we did it in January, and it was a day that I was not here. I was not on campus. I was at a meeting, and our staff did an amazing job with it because there could be an emergency and I might not be here. So we want to make sure that we're readily prepared for any and all situations. So safety drills. Enrollment. About the same. Hiring update. So we are still looking for this year for a foreign language teacher. I know it's been cut from the budget last year, but I'm still actively looking because that was part of our MOU. Budget Advisory Committee, I want to thank them again for all the hard work that they put in. It is a lot of work, and we do appreciate their input. So thank you again to our 5 members of our Budget Advisory Committee. They had to, when we gave them the sales pitch on being part of the Budget Advisory Committee, we said, it's like 2 or 3 meetings. It ended up being like 6 or 7 meetings. So it was a little ridiculous. It was a lot more than any other Budget Advisory Committee.
It was a little crazy this year.
It was a little different, so we really appreciate them and appreciate all of their input. Building community with our town. So we had one for the loved one back in February. We hosted the town meeting here still, even though we didn't have our school meeting part. So that was great, and thank you to the Proctor Library for providing lunch for people from the town to be here. We met with Loanne and Marion to review the upcoming election, so we are all set for that for April 2nd. And then we did do the supervisory union school-wide dance. Upcoming events. School-wide dances or supervisory union-wide dances are hard for me. So those are some of the things that are happening. Starting tomorrow, we have our equity audit follow-up from our DEI coordinator, Tracy Price. Pride Assembly this Friday. Early release day is also this Friday for students. So the staff has staff development, student-led conferences, no school for students. March 30th at 10 a.m. we have our school budget presentation, BT-CAP testing starts, school board or school budget voting, spring break, Beauty and the Beast, testing, lots. Thank you. And then, are you going to do Christine's part? Okay. So Angie's up to Christine's part. Any questions? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We did have some, the outdoor signage, when is that being purchased? That was, I think, with Hicks Nichols funds?
Oh, yes, go ahead, Carrie, please.
So the sign is on order, and now the process is getting the quote and the permitting for the installation. But the sign itself won't be through production until at least the middle of May, if not June.
Okay.
And then I think, as with all things that give you a date of when they'll be built and ready, you can add on a few weeks.
Yeah.
So
probably for the beginning of next year, beginning of the school year next year.
We're hoping that it will be working, functioning, and unveiled for the start of the school year.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So Brian's going to be my clicker, and I'm reading it on the screen. So this hiring practices, next slide. Hiring practices was reported out at the SU board meeting, but for those of you that weren't there or haven't watched the recording, we just wanted to share with you the progress that this committee with Tina Canfield, Larry Dower, Tracy Price, and Brittany and Christine has met 3 times so far. These are their goals: to create consistent and inclusive practices across hiring groups. They will create job postings and descriptions, determine where to post positions, and I believe that is to make sure that we have posted them in a variety of areas so people have access to them, creating expectations for interviews and interview committees, create common interview questions and create reference check questions. The question of the month was about early release days, and what you were seeing on this slide is that we had 63 responses, and the blue part of the responses, about 64% approximately, was in response to whether or not there was an impact to the family, and the blue set is indicating that there was no impact on their family, whereas the red is reporting that it's a challenge for our family. So 64% to 36%. The challenges, people were asked to respond with some comments, was childcare is a big challenge, as well as for some people that transportation home from the bus stop can be a challenge, tricky to get their kiddos where they, back to their home, and then loss of work time for parents. Another question was that was related to exploring replacing early release days with full days for professional development or conferences. And this idea would push out the last student day to later in June. And then the question was, what is your preference? So on this graph here, the big part that looks like Pac-Man, 73%, I probably just dated myself. The 73% is saying that they prefer early release days. That's the red. And then the next section, the small wedge, that's yellow or lighter on your screen, depending on how you're looking at this. That is, it makes no difference to our family. And then that 17.5% are reporting that it's a whole day of, they would prefer, a whole day of no school for students.
And my timing for asking for an early release day is impeccable.
Yes. Okay. And then Christine wanted to,
I had a question. You said 63 people. Is that just from our school or SUY?
This is an SUY, so.
That's a small sample size.
It is. We have over 1,000 students.
Yeah.
And of course, there are siblings in that group, but the budgets across the state, Christine wanted to report this information out to you. 65 budgets in the state passed on March 5th. 30 budgets in the state failed on March 5th. 8 school districts had rescinded before that vote, and then 14 districts will vote later than March 5th. All 3 of our districts vote April 2nd, and then information about the time and place for your informational meeting will be March 30th at 10 a.m. here in the building. So you can click it once. I have it forwarded. Okay. So the curriculum feedback that was brought to my attention from the board after sitting with teachers, I took that feedback and I analyzed it and tried to think about some ways that might be helpful in moving forward from that feedback. So the first thing is that the piloting process, this is what we learned, that the piloting process requires representation from all stakeholders, which is what we currently practice. Teachers, including special educators and interventionists, parents, board members, students, via establishing a leadership team, gathering feedback in a variety of ways, in-person meetings and surveys. So moving forward, we think we can make a more determined effort in that to ensure that we have a wide representation. Next one, that we include a timeline that's determined by several factors. That is the needs of our stakeholders, financial considerations, and state and federal requirements as curriculum requirements change based on state and federal requirements. We would have to look at piloting and consider that. And thirdly, adoption. The adoption process involves a team decision. It never is one person making that decision. It's always a collective decision. This particular piloting effort was led by a piloting leadership team, and that team made a recommendation to the administrative team for the adoption. The next slide, Brian, thank you. And what we learned about implementation. Okay, wait a second. My computer's doing funky things. Okay, I think I had the other slide in there like 3 times. The program expectations need to be clearly and consistently stated. Feedback from teachers to instructional coaches, administrators, and central office curriculum team needs to be gathered routinely throughout the first year of implementation. Differentiate communication plan, that we differentiate a communication plan for all staff to ensure that the staff are aware that communication with the CIA team is available and welcomed. And then we will strengthen communication via the CIA team at staff meetings, weekly walkabouts in each building, and working with the instructional coaches more closely. Yeah, I have these slides. And then our next actions, thank you, what we're doing next. I have the slides all duplicated in my slideshow, I don't know how. What we are doing next, we are developing the final quarter lesson guidance, which is the must-dos and optional lessons, because as with any curriculum, there is usually far more lessons than what our students can possibly accomplish in a school year. And when you're piloting a new program, it's to be expected that that would be even more challenging because students haven't had the curriculum the previous years, which would make them more familiar with materials, et cetera, the processes. So those, that guidance will be coming out for teachers. Summer work with teacher teams on reviewing the scope and sequence of the ELA and math programs to again look at the must-dos and what is optional, or what we call that compacting the curriculum so that it is more doable. It also makes it easier for us to meet student needs. We are going to continue to gather feedback across the SU on the priority areas of concern, which is for our teachers is completing the program requirements, and figuring out how to best support students who are struggling with the materials and accessing the program. Those are 2 common themes that came up in the feedback. And with that, we have also heard across the SU from other teachers about their concerns. And that completes my report. You can reach out to Patty Gray, who's our curriculum and instruction specialist, as well as myself at the SU. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to items for discussion, followed by motions if needed. Up first is the budget presentation.
So this is basically the same presentation that I showed you last month, with the exception of
Update the date on that.
Huh?
It's got the wrong date on it, right? Oh, no, that is the right date. Sorry. Sorry.
So I did do updates on everything. So do you want me to go?
I was thinking it was April 2nd for some reason. That's the voting, yeah.
This is our school meeting day. You want me to go through the whole presentation or just the parts that I had to update?
Updates.
Yeah, just updates.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fiscal year tax rate. Current tax rate 1.6646, new tax rate 1.8281. So if you have a $500,000 house, you're gonna have an increase of $818.
Maybe we don't point that one out.
Okay, if you have a $250,000 house, $409.
Now we're into the sales pitch here.
I was going for the worst case. All right.
Pick the average one, and then the middle. Middle's always good.
So it's a bigger, SU assessments, those went down from what they previously were. Yeah, there we go. I won't make people dizzy, sorry. Proposed budget.
Well, you should make sure you're sharing that tab. I'm like, why isn't this showing?
Oh, it's not.
Um,
Oh, shit, this tab instead, that's fine.
I'm like,
There we
why
go.
is it
Now it's
not?
on. There we go.
So
Thank
sorry
you.
about that, folks. I
Okay.
should have picked that up sooner. Those first few slides weren't shown.
I can go back and show those again so members of the
Okay.
audience online can see them. Let me do that real quick. Let me go back, everybody.
I thought it was my computer not updating, but
There we go.
that's good.
$250,000 house, 409. Student enrollment number, those are the same actually, so I need to go through those.
So why are, I guess because 8th grade was so big, that's why we are lower next year than this year.
High school costs. Because we have more students going to high school, plus the high school cost is going up. It was nice to hear that about Springfield though.
Yeah, although kind of, like, I mean, it's nice to hear that it's gonna not be that much,
Right.
but also it's not right that they padded their budget at our expense. It's kind of stinks, but.
Hold on. Oh, okay, because it wants to go through the whole thing. There we go, sorry. Oh.
This is good practice.
Was not doing this earlier. All right, community, there was a new slide on this one too. You would like it? Your mom sort of went like, she has a weird look on her face, so if you want a different picture.
No, I love it.
I liked it, I thought it was a great picture.
I like it,
but it's
yeah.
fine.
This is,
And I showed it to him before I did, so.
this is like the best, picture I've ever had, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, your hair looks different now.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's, so I'm just, if you want a different,
no, it's okay.
all right, I don't. And so that was, and then the articles, of course, changed. So we're down to 6 articles. The first one here does state that it's approved on the floor.
Mhm.
Australian ballot to elect the officers. Capital reserve. So we have authorized to borrow money from it. This is how much we're putting into the capital reserves, the $100,000 from the old amount. This is the amount of the budget. And then anything else that we need to, any other business. So that one stays the same. So we had 7 articles and we were able to knock it down to 6. Okay. I think that's all of the changes. Any questions? You guys still, everybody still happy with that?
Everybody's good? Okay.
No, I feel busy.
I did remember one other thing that I have to add to today's meeting. I almost totally forgot. I'm sorry, I've had a lot going on the past week and I almost totally forgot something very important. And that is that our moderator, John Broker Campbell, he has another commitment on March 30th. He asked Sean Whalen, who was just elected town moderator in the past election by write-in, if he would be willing to moderate our meeting in his stead. So we have to approve that. We have to appoint Sean as moderator for our March 30th meeting.
Can we do that by a simple motion?
Make a motion and then we'll vote, yeah. So if somebody wants to make a motion to appoint Sean Whalen, our moderator, for the school portion of town meeting on March 30th.
So moved.
Okay, Mark made that motion. Any discussion? No? All in favor, say aye. That's unanimous. Sean, if you're on, I don't know if he's on or not, but congratulations. And John, you're off the hook. I don't know if he's on either, but okay. So I will inform them both of that, and Sean will be our moderator. I'm sure he'll do a great job. So let's see. Up next we have the drama report.
Okay. So before rehearsals even started this year, we had 8 volunteers to take time away from their possibly more amusing winter activities and jump in with some set building. So they basically made 12 flats that were all put together so that we have 4 3-sided columns that can spin around. So there they are, assembling them there. There was lots of drills and impact wrenches and screws and whatnot. And so you see them laying out different spacing. We've got one piece that's going to be a well/dining table when it gets covered up with a tablecloth. So the kids put together the 12 flats, assembled the periactoids. Those are the 3-sided flats. And then they laid out, so you see them engaging with pneumatic fasteners and glue and shooting all things together. So it was a little bit of a scramble. We had to warn faculty that there would be popping noises coming from the gym. And luckily we didn't actually disturb anybody, and the noise was not quite as disruptive as I thought it might be. But there they are, helping us get everything all capped. So we're recycling a bunch of scenery that we've used before. So they helped cap new flat walls for the back. They built a new 2x8 platform and then legged up the upper platforms. So that's basically where we are. Just from the start of winter activities, there's at least 45 students involved in the production so far.
65 plus costumes.
65 plus, and you're just getting started, aren't you? Okay, all right. Meredith is doing an incredible job getting us out ahead of where we need to be. We're a little ahead of where we are normally, which is good because it's more enjoyable for everybody when Mark isn't running around like a lunatic the week before the production. And Carrie is helping out with the choreography. Who else have we got here? Andrea Powell's the assistant director. Becca Town is the musical director. Erica Youngling is the director. So that's basically where we are right now. The next thing that's going to be our biggest concern in terms of the physical space is coming up with a way to corral all of these students in the right-hand side of the gymnasium. So if you look at that main entrance door, we're going to try and set up temporary barriers to keep the 45 students out of the hair of the audience members that will be there. So there's going to be more to that coming up. So the next step is the art classes have started sending down a few students during the day to start priming all of the raw wood. So we've got some of the younger grades priming already. And then the next step is going to be some of the upper grades are going to break off from the art and do stonework and tree work and sky work and whatever else they feel like. So there's going to be a whole lot of painting. So that's why, and I know as much use as that gym gets. So thanks to Laura Berry and all of the various different athletics that happen in there. I know there's a lot of us sharing the same space, but being able to not have to worry about paint cans and everything else and all the rest of the athletes on stage is really helpful. So at some point we will be selling t-shirts. I'm going to have to work out, I'm not sure what we will need approval for and what we won't. So that will probably be for next time. If we're going to be selling t-shirts, I guess we would need permission to do that as a fundraiser. And that is about all we've got going on there, so.
Do you need us to approve that at this meeting? Is that easier for you if we
Yeah.
approve it now?
Yes,
I think that was approved last, like a month or two ago.
Was it?
They're already for sale.
It was back when we had the town show. Sorry to jump in, Mark, but I think we
No.
did a joint ask, we meaning.
for that,
For the talent show, and there was t-shirt sales in there because they are being sold currently, and they're just lovely, and you don't have to be a cast or crew member. You can get on and get your Beauty and the Beast, t-shirt. Okay. Sit right here and pick up your.
okay.
Well, thank you for remembering that. 'Cause
I double checked it. I think it was, back when we had the talent show was what, November?
Yep,
We wanted to do, it was a big sale ask, but I think there's also a t-shirt ask.
okay. And one more thing, again, the dates are April 26th and 27th, and admission will be by donation, so. That's it.
All right. You wanted to speak about Student Leadership Day or ask us?
Yes, so I would like to be able to have an early release day. I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna finalize tomorrow, hopefully with the staff, during our staff meeting, for May 24th, which is that Friday before Memorial Day weekend. That always tends to be a day of lower attendance anyways, because we give people an extra day off and they decide to take an extra day. So we could maybe entice people to be here. It's one of those things that I used to do in California, just to get, we do lunch with loved one days on those things, because it does help our attendance on that day prior to a mini vacation. Plus it would benefit the staff and be able to speak with all staff, not just our teaching staff, because a lot of times during staff meetings, I don't have that opportunity to share with our support staff. And I want to make sure that they're readily included in this amazing event.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the early release day for Friday, May 24th?
I will.
Okay,
So
Mark made the motion. Any discussion on it? Okay. I will say I'm one of the parents that kind of complains about early release days, but I like that you've paired it with the holiday weekend. I think that it's less of a burden on a holiday weekend, so I won't stand in the way of your half day.
We appreciate it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. You got your half day. Okay. I also wanted to make a statement. This is Jamie Turner's last meeting, I believe, right? And I just wanted to thank you for being a member of the school board. You've shared a perspective that, we'd like to have all different perspectives, and we like to have your perspective on our board. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We have an executive session, which I think we do have reason for it, so we are going to have that. But before we go into that, let's set the next agenda. So that is, let's see. Our next meeting will be April 16th because of the school vacation the week before. So April 16th at 6:30, is that okay for everybody? And we will have basically what we had for this month's meeting previously will be what will be our agenda for next month's meeting. So it'll be the reorganization. What else do we have?
Quarterly financials.
Quarterly financials, okay. Will there be any updates from the drama club, or I guess?
Perhaps.
Okay. We'll put,
Showtime, but.
yeah, we'll put drama club update.
Push for ticket sales.
Yeah. Tickets. That's all that I can think of right now. Does anyone have anything else
So, Angie, regarding the curriculum, the outline, is this something that we can kind of circle back to see what's been done in the meantime or on a more frequent basis?
I typically report at the SU board,
Okay,
so I would be happy to do that. Next month at the SU board, I do a report. We do a CIA report 2 or 3 times a year. If there was something specific that you wanted to know, we could put that in the superintendent's report.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I realize it's at the SU level also, but I just want to make sure that we're directly addressing our school's concerns and needs with our teachers. So this outline that you've given, is this something that you're immediately starting? Or is this like for next year? Like
No.
what is?
Immediately started.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I would just want to know specifically,
Okay.
since our teachers were, the ones that were really looking for some answers.
So
We could have a follow-up with that.
I imagine I'd have something to report out next month
Okay.
on that.
Great.
I'm just thinking about like testing and stuff that, we have 3 weeks before break, so that we should be making some progress. Is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks before break?
That's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. So I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I guess I will take a motion to go into executive session then.
So moved,
I guess you're the motion maker, Mark.
apparently.
That was, motion was made by Mark. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, so we're gonna be going into executive session.
We'll go into the conference room.
No, we're done. I
I
was
know.
just wondering what you're going in the.
Yeah, we're gonna go into the conference room.
Okay, I was just wondering what the executive session was for.
It is embargoed, student, testing results that are not public knowledge and can't be.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah. All right, I'll show you minutes for peanut butter. All right, I'll go.
We just ended. Is the Weathersfield meeting over?
We're going into executive session, but I can bring it with me.
You can hang up on her.
Okay.
Oh, they hung up on me. I guess it's over. Just leave the